favorite super mayor, Tiffany Henyard, the people's mayor, people's supervisor. Yes. I'm still gonna coin my name.
PM Friday, Tiffany Henyard, the former Dalton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor, walked into circuit court.
Tiffany, do you have any thoughts about being in court today, being ordered to come to court?
You don't have any comment right now.
Love on those that love on you back, and pay attention to the people in your camp. Because I had a ton of Judases in my camp. I kid you not, a ton of.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have returned. I know this face is one you all definitely remember.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Getting up at press conference talking about nothing. Learn the laws. I tell y'all that all the time. Learn from me. But because I'm younger than all y'all think y'all can't learn from me, huh?
We have covered former Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard in great detail on this channel, and just when it seems like the drama might finally end, she hits us with yet another plot twist, straight from the corruption cinematic universe. This time, she appeared in court, stayed silent, and once again, invoked the Fifth Amendment. At this point, it is clear this is not some one-off tactic. It is her go-to move when the heat is on. So buckle up. We are now entering Chapter 9 of How Not to Serve the Public. This episode begins with Tiffany Henyard, the ex-mayor turned part-time township tyrant, being hauled into court just yesterday. Why? Because when transparency advocates asked for public records, essentially questioning where the funds vanished, she pulled a full-on disappearing act like a bad Tinder match. The group behind the lawsuit, a civic watchdog organization known as Agar County. Watchdog's longtime players in the ongoing saga of Tiffany's controversies filed legal action against the village of Elton, their accusation that her administration flat-out ignored the simplest Freedom of Information Act requests.
Henyard's appearance in court was pretty quick and easy. She was ordered to come to court, I should say, in person after being found in contempt for not following state transparency laws and submitting records during her time in office. Now, as you mentioned, instead of testifying today, her attorney pled the Fifth on the former mayor's behalf.
Court documents say Henyard refused to respond to emails from last fall from Dalton Council requesting records in response to the FOIA request.
The watchdogs were looking for something pretty simple, which was some credit card.
FOIA requests, they are absolutely essential, especially when it comes to holding government officials accountable, particularly at the local level. Citizens have every right to request access to certain public records, and the government is legally required to provide them. Ignoring these requests is not supposed to be an option. All this group was asking for were some basic records, receipts, credit card logs, meeting minutes, nothing out of the ordinary. Instead of turning over the paperwork, Henyard and her team basically responded to the court like, "Who? Us?" The judge actually had to order Tiffany to appear in person since she had already been found in contempt for violating state transparency laws. Her attorney tried to argue that she could not recall what specific documents were being mentioned, claiming everything was just too disorganized back then. And let's be honest, most of that disorder was a direct result of her own actions. Now, I am no legal expert, but it is pretty clear that she is digging herself into a deeper hole, and should probably stop talking. But here is the real question. If those records truly do not exist, then why invoke the Fifth Amendment?
I'm as Dalton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor, Brinley advised her to plead the Fifth.
I think that's what anybody that's smart and reasonable and has a lawyer is going to do under these circumstances. She's not a public figure anymore. She's not in office. She has every right to exercise her rights under the...
Let us be honest. Everyone knows what pleading the Fifth really means. It is what people do when telling the truth might get them in legal trouble. It is not something you do just because you lost a receipt or cannot identify a document. So, if there is really nothing to hide, what exactly is she protecting? We all have a pretty clear picture of what is going on here. Tiffany has stirred up so much chaos that the financial lines are completely blurred, and it seems like she's keeping her mouth shut because speaking the truth could come back to haunt her. Silence is her strategy. But here is the thing, it is not even a murder trial we are talking about. It is emails and suspicious credit card charges. If you are truly innocent and unaware, you would not be afraid to say that under oath, but when you plead the Fifth, it sends the message, "I do not know, and I am not going to explain it." That only fuels the suspicion. Now everyone is wondering, what is buried in those records? Why not just release them? Why all the delays? Why the secrecy if it is just an honest mistake? But what if it is not a mistake? What if it is intentional? Maybe she remembers exactly what happened, and admitting it would open up a legal nightmare. She is not dodging noise, she is dodging consequences. Let us be real-it is a credit card, a statement, not a classified government file. But speaking of disaster, her entire time in office looked like an episode of Parks and Recreation if Quentin Tarantino had written the script. She would hold up papers in board meetings, claim certain programs were canceled, but never show the actual documentation. So when the court asked her to prove it, she basically said, "Yeah, no thanks." And it has only gone downhill since. During that same hearing, a judge casually mentioned another lawsuit. At this point, there are so many legal battles involving her, it is hard to even keep count. Honestly, someone could start an entire YouTube channel just covering Tiffany Henyard's court cases. And this lawsuit is not just about Tiffany, involves the village itself, the fire and police commissions, and even more officials. Tiffany said she had no idea this one even existed. And maybe she really does not. With this many lawsuits, who could blame her? But that is just how she seems to operate. Her defense is no longer just legal, it has become spiritual. She is dodging responsibility at every level. Let us call it what it is, a delay tactic, a legal pause button on a drama she does not want to finish watching, and with the FBI reportedly investigating her for misuse of taxpayer money and retaliating against political rivals, pleading the fifth is not just a legal move, it might be the last move she has left. This is not someone avoiding embarrassment. This is someone sitting atop a mountain of bad choices, hoping the entire structure does not come crashing down. So what happened after the hearing? That might have been the most bizarre part of all. Tiffany Henyard returned to Facebook Live, her first time doing so in months. Ever since her election defeat, she appeared like she was stepping off a red carpet, not walking out of a courtroom facing accusations of corruption and stonewalling. Instead of offering answers, being transparent, or addressing why she was even in court or why she ignored basic Freedom of Information Act requests, she went on a long, disjointed thank you monologue. She praised God, thanked her supporters, talked about surrounding herself with angels, and staying protected at all costs. She issued a warning about haters and those allegedly praying against your manifestations, preaching about the power of positive speech so it can come to life. She encouraged everyone to stay positive because life is short and to cherish those who genuinely care for you. She mentioned having a bunch of Judas in my circle and kept expressing gratitude for the few who are still loyal. Then came the tease of a book tour. But instead of sounding like someone facing legal heat over public corruption, it felt more like a teaser for a new reality show. She described the day as amazing and painted it as a win. Honestly, I have no idea what reality she is operating. In that livestream was soaked in delusion, and the way she clung to the haters' narrative, nobody's really mad that she was the first suit mayor. People are upset about her blatant disrespect for transparency laws, like expired coupons that no one is going to redeem. She keeps insisting she is under attack because of her greatness, not because of questionable leadership or how she handled her dual role as mayor and supervisor. But truthfully, much of this chaos is her own doing. She brought up her child, her father, and naturally, her upcoming book, but somehow skipped over why she had to plead the fifth, or what happened to all those missing FOIA responses. Now, about that book, it's wild that Keith Freeman claimed Tiffany Hen rarely used email, so we are supposed to believe she is suddenly writing a book. What will it even include? A chapter on how she allegedly dodged transparency laws, maybe a section on ignoring FOIA requests like spam in your inbox. If she refuses to speak truthfully under oath, what is she possibly going to reveal in a Amazon memoir? She wants us to think she is ready to share her truth, not with a judge, not with investigators, and definitely not under the threat of perjury. In my view, this has nothing to do with being transparent. This is pure PR, a strategic move to reshape public opinion before legal consequences catch up to her. Remember her campaign days? She promised receipts. She said she had all the proof to clear her name, and yet nothing ever came. No receipts in the podcasts, no evidence in the YouTube videos, and even on Facebook Live. She had countless opportunities to show something, but she never did. Will this book cover the missing files, the retaliation claims, the alleged sweetheart contracts she handed out? Or will it just be another round of "they hate me because I was first," sprinkled with motivational cliches on every other page? You cannot claim to be silenced when you are live streaming your every thought. You definitely cannot promise a tell-all in a book while pleading the fifth in court. One of those is authentic, and we all know which one it is. To be real, this book likely will not be about truth. It will be about control. It is an effort to steer the narrative while the justice system watches her every move. Now, if the book ever sees daylight, I will read it. Most of you probably won't, and that is totally fine. She will probably hire a ghostwriter anyway. But me, I am adding it to my summer reading list if she actually finishes it. And considering the lawsuits, investigations, and public uproar, this story is far from over. That Facebook Live, it was not motivation. It was damage control in disguise. And honestly, she looked relieved not to be locked up. Plenty of people expected she would be. That stream was basically the political version of shouting, "I'm fine," while your kitchen is burning down behind you. If Tiffany Hen truly had nothing to hide, she would be live streaming the receipts, not rehearsing speeches of gratitude. This is not spiritual warfare. This is legal reckoning. No matter how many inspiring quotes or sparkly filters she uses, the subpoenas are not slowing down. She even got permission to file an affidavit claiming she has no documents, which is just a formal way of saying, "I do not have them." The judge gave her a temporary pass, but the people of Dolan already voted her out. That is the only piece of accountability they could control. The rest lies in court, and that clock is ticking fast. Let us not ignore the quiet chatter about shady Vina contracts, cushy deals for well-connected friends, and misuse of public money. Some of these things are still under the radar, and that is not even including whatever the FBI might uncover if they keep digging. So, no, this is not just one isolated lawsuit. It is a domino effect. Every subpoena, affidavit, and leaked email peels back another layer, revealing just how deep the mess runs. And with each piece of evidence, the picture gets more disturbing. We will see how this saga plays out. Are you planning to read Tiffany Hen's ex-super mayor memoir? I know I am if she ever publishes it, which is still a big if. What do you think of everything going on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next video.